Gas prices surge, putting a painful burden on Texas drivers.
I can't even drive it. It's sitting at the house on E because I can't put $90 in it to fill it up.
Now when you fill up, it's $100 or more.
As fuel prices hit historic levels, some are calling for more Texas oil to ease pain at the pump, while energy experts say it won't be easy to ramp up production. President Biden comes to Texas on a mission to help veterans.
It shouldn't be, can you help me? If I've got a problem, we should say, how can we help?
His plan to boost benefits for veterans exposed to toxic fumes from burn pits, while some lawmakers are pushing for a different approach. Robocalls, we all get them, but one man got fed up and fought back. How his plan helped him make money off of telemarketers.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. Gas prices continue to hit record highs across the nation and here in Texas. On Thursday, AAA reported the average price of a gallon of unleaded topped $4 a gallon. Drivers in some parts of West Texas are paying up to $4.50 a gallon on average. Prices are almost $1 more than what Texans were paying a month ago, and the pain at the pump is expected to get worse. On Tuesday, President Biden visited Fort Worth and had a blunt response when reporters asked him about gas prices.
It's gonna go up. Can't do much right now. Russia's responsible.
The war in Ukraine led Congress to vote Wednesday to ban imports of oil from Russia. Austin Democrat Lloyd Doggett authored the bill, but the ban could make the price hikes even worse. Politics reporter Daniel Marin takes an in-depth look at how this could test the patience of Americans who right now support moves to penalize Russia.
You know, I understand. I fully support.
Filling up in Terrytown, Austin driver Jen Roth says she's okay with paying a little more for gas, given what's happening abroad.
For 13.8 gallons, I paid $57.11.
And the new Quinnipiac University poll shows she's not alone. 71% of Americans support the ban on Russian oil, even if it means higher gasoline prices in the U.S. The poll surveyed nearly 1,400 adults. Communication and political science professor Dr. Richard Pineda says there's a reason for that support in this moment.
Americans' attention on Ukraine is really driven right now by the prevalence of social media. This is in some ways, being dubbed the TikTok war, partly because we're watching, almost real-time videos.
Pineda adds there is a limit on how long those images will garner American empathy.
And it has nothing to do with the cause. It has nothing to do with people's sensibilities about Russia or Ukraine. I think it has more to do with attention span.
Yes, we were willing to make some sacrifice, and I believe the American people are ready to do that too.
We spoke with Congressman Lloyd Doggett fresh off his flight back from D.C. after the passage of his bill with a large bipartisan vote of 414 to 17. Doggett says he knew the move could lead to higher gas prices, but feels it was worth the political risk because
defending freedom is so very important, because the horrors that we see cannot be stopped unless we're willing to give an economic pinch on Russia.
No one likes it, but I think my patients are okay for now.
Daniel Marin, State of Texas.
2 Texas Republicans were among the 17 votes against the ban. Those were East Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert and Chip Roy of Central Texas. Roy said he supports penalties on Russia, but claims the ban gives too much power to adversaries in Iran and Venezuela. Many Texans, including Governor Greg Abbott, say the recent sanctions show the need for the United States to become energy independent. Republicans say that means depending more on oil produced right here in Texas. But energy experts say it's not that simple to ramp up production. Maggie Glynn explains.
Since Putin began his military buildup on Ukrainian borders, just since then, the price of the gas at the pump in America went up 75 cents. And with this action, it's going to go up further.
Governor Greg Abbott says the answer to that cost is an increase in domestic oil production. He tweeted this week, Texas can easily produce enough oil to reduce gas prices. But it may not be that simple.
We do produce a lot of oil domestically, and that oil production has been growing. Just because we get it out of the ground doesn't mean we can actually refine it.
The oil we import is typically lower quality than the oil we produce here in Texas.
a lot of our refiners, particularly in the Gulf Coast of Texas, are built for this lower quality crude that comes from the Middle East and Russia and Canada. And the crude that we produce is typically higher quality. And counterintuitively, it's harder for us to actually turn that better crude into gasoline and diesel than it is for the lower quality crude.
So, in addition to increasing domestic production, we would have to change how we process oil, which won't happen overnight. Just ramping up production can help keep gas prices down, however, if we ship it overseas for processing.
We can produce more and potentially send more to Europe, where they actually are more tooled to process that sweet crude. And so that might be helpful in the short term.
But if true independence is the goal, that wouldn't get us any closer. Maggie Glynn for State of Texas.
Refineries are working to match pre-pandemic productivity levels. As of last year, the U.S. refined more than 18 million barrels of crude a day. That's the lowest level since summer 2016. There are about 130 refineries in the U.S. Texas is home to the most, with 31. We process nearly a third of the nation's capacity. Now to a big developing story. A U.S. district judge held an emergency hearing Thursday into reports of abuse, neglect, and sex trafficking at a place meant to help sex trafficking victims. It's called The Refuge. The nonprofit in Bastrop County promised to help girls ages 11 to 17 who escaped sex trafficking, but legal documents say a worker at the facility sold nude photos of 2 girls in its care. The Refuge fired the employee after the girls notified the facility. The federal complaint says 8 girls made accusations of human trafficking against the former employee. Investigators are also looking into allegations of sexual and physical abuse. Those accusations involve other staff members. Child Protective Services removed all the children from the facility. Governor Greg Abbott ordered Texas Rangers to investigate the allegations. He released a statement saying child abuse of any kind won't be tolerated in the state of Texas. He also vowed that those found guilty would be punished to the fullest extent of the law. House Speaker Dade Phelan said lawmakers will soon hold hearings to address this issue as well. Phelan called it unacceptable and nauseating and added, quote, "We must do everything in our power to stop this kind of evil." He said under the interim charges issued Thursday, House members will hold hearings as soon as possible. Veterans suffering from illnesses struggling to get medical benefits. They blame their problems on burn pits.
There are all kinds of chemicals in there, plastic bottles, carcinogens, all kinds of stuff that you probably shouldn't be inhaling.
How lawmakers and a presidential push are bringing new attention and resources to help those who served. A Texas man fed up with robocalls, so he made a plan to fight the companies behind the calls. What he did that made him $75,000.